Hello peoples, so this is going to be a weird friggin' video, but like I got some ideas, and this game, oh, like, I'm not gonna promote this thing. This thing ain't about Ark, but like it's got some stuff in it, and like seems like Bethesda starts this itch when we start playing their games, and like they don't fulfill like the needs of that itch. That's pretty much what happens. So like now you guys who played Skyrim, like you know what's up. You know this thing how they start this thing in your head, but then they don't run with it. So like what I'm gonna do and try and break this stuff down and like so we know what we want and what we're waiting for. So like you're checking this thing out. So when I look at this, I'm thinking an old school friggin' 16-bit RPG start screen, right? Like that's what I see, what I saw when I look at that stuff. And this is what games look like nowadays. And like as you can see, this ain't some start screen thing. I'm actually playing this thing. So like coming from like the 90s and stuff, you can see technology is friggin' like check this out. All this stuff you're looking at, I've built this stuff now. This ain't promoting this game. I'm talking about like what we can do in video games compared to what we used to be able to do, like how the stuff looks. So like basically it's just because Ark looks so cool and there's so much cool shit in here. So like if you don't know about this game, you can find out some stuff about it, but there's stuff in this type of stuff that really it matters for RPGs. Now I'm just gonna say that this thing is Ark is an Unreal Engine 4 game, right? So of course they've customized all this shit for Ark, but from the ground up, this thing is a first-person shooter, right? So, and this has relevance with Elder Scrolls games because, like, if you know anything about Daggerfall, all we had to compare Daggerfall back in was first-person shoot. All we had was Doom and shit. Like that was it. So. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, back then, when Daggerfall, like, when we found out about that shit, it was the first-person shooter that was an RPG. That's what Daggerfall was, because there was no first-person RPGs back then. It was like Eye of the Beholder and stuff. That was it. So, like, you know, first-person shooters and like Elder Scrolls game, they're hand in hand. So like that's why you're looking at this stuff, cause I see stuff from other genres, and like there's no reason why we shouldn't have this shit in an RPG. So I'm just gonna say like the next first-person RPG that's gonna be good that we're gonna like, it's gonna need to be made with a first-person shooter engine. It's just gonna need to happen. Like I don't care what you guys say about how are they gonna make a RP? Dude, it's stupid. Give me a break. Like, it's friggin' game. Somebody can figure out a way. Like, it just needs to happen. You see how this shit works in friggin' Fallout. It's an RPG that's trying to be a shooter. The shit doesn't work, dude. The first person Fallout, like, the first two were straight up RPGs, turn-based. Like, I beat the shit out of both those games. So, like, just because it says Fallout, it's not the same shit. It's trying to be a first-person shooter and an RPG, and it ain't working. It's because they're using the wrong shit. So, like, I think, because that's what we want, dude. That's what we want. Like a first-person, real-time, frenetic RPG, right? That plays like a shooter that's an RPG. That's what we want, dude. That's what we want. Like, this shit, it turns us off when we play Elder Scrolls game. It's just they just don't finish what they start, right? They're stuck in this. I don't know. They want to do it the way they've always done it, and it's time for us to fucking move. So yeah. So you're looking at this shit, and so I'm seeing this and I'm playing this and I'm thinking, why can't we do this shit in an Elder Scrolls game? Like what's wrong with friggin' taming shit? Like in a freaking RPG, just because it's Elder Scrolls, why can't they just put that shit in there? Like, is anybody gonna bitch? It's like I don't think anybody's gonna care if this shit's fun. So like it's pretty much breaking down what we think we want, dude. I think the only reason we like this shit is because that's what we're getting. Like we need to fucking like it's 2019. We need to start doing some different shit. Like, you devs, you people who play games, you need to think about this stuff, dude. Like, it's still role-playing games, but this shit's changing. Like, just think what we could be playing right now, and we're stuck with this. With the, like, they're going back to the BioWare shit, dude. That stuff's fine, dude, but like, we got to move forward. We need real-time first-person RPGs that are like they're active, they're action. There's action shit. It's not janky and it doesn't feel funky and shit. Like, I mean, Skyrim was probably felt better than any other Elder Scrolls game, but it still feels friggin' weird, dude. It's not. You feel stuck to the ground and shit. Like, bring back levitation. Like, we need to be free in this game. Like, it needs to feel free. Like, up and down, vertical. It's all that shit. Like, levitation needs to work. It feels too stunted in Skyrim. Like, it needs a different engine. Like, we need something that's quick. And you see how this shit is. Like, so I just flew all the way over from on the other side of this map, and I just landed on this friggin' mountain. Right? I could jump off this thing, like it's, and then I'm looking at this stuff. Like, see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I get that RPGs are cool and you like to sit there and check this shit out, but there's no reason this shit can't be fast and like run like a first-person shooter, and they just don't, dude. No first-person RPGs run like this. They need to. Like, we need to stop doing this shit we've been doing. Like, you know, we need to like step it up, dude. This is what we want. We want something that's quicker, that works smoothly. You know, just like this, like how you're looking at it. Like, there's no funkiness with the funkin' menus. Like, this game it's like it's made by gamers. So, I mean, you can tell when you're playing this thing. It's got all the good shortcuts you want. Everything's where you want it. Like the console, you can do that shit. Like, I do some of that stuff. It's just the way they set this shit up, dude. It's accessible. It's not all behind stupid fucking shit you gotta figure out. Like, it's the way they set this shit up, the way it works. It's fast, and like I said, this is Unreal Engine 4, so like, there's no reason why people can't just use whatever engine they want if this shit works and it's fast. But like, I don't know. I think there's this stigma with RPGs where they have to be different. Like, there's no friggin' reason why it needs to be different. Like, just make it a first-person shooter that's an RPG. Like, what's the problem? Like, you know, make it fast. Like, that's what we want, dude. We want something that tests us. Like, this shit, it's just, I don't know. Like, I've been playing RPGs for years, and playing the first Bethesda games, I knew what I wanted. Like, I thought that's what they were doing. That's why I've been with them. But, like, to be honest, dude, after all these years, I don't think this shit's gonna change. I don't think this shit's gonna change. We're gonna have to look somewhere else to get the good RPG I want. And, like, when I'm playing this thing it's also built up to be multiplayer, right? So, like, this is my little single-player server. I've got all this stuff set up. See this place I built? I built all this shit, right? No. I've used the console for some of this stuff, but that's the whole thing. Is because it's single player, right? You got that option. You know, it's just the way they set shit up. So, like, you can mess with this stuff, make it easier, or play it the default, which is hard as shit. Like, all this stuff that I built, it just deteriorates. So, like, if it was turned on, I wouldn't be able to, like, repair shit. Plus, like, this stuff, you're keeping stuff that's leveled. It's got a lot of stuff from RPGs in it. It's just you don't have skills. You level up and stuff, but like, you're unlocking stuff to craft and shit. So, like, there's some stuff that's not RPG-ish, but like, it's just you're flying giant birds, and like, you know, it's like the Lord of the Rings shit, or giant dinosaurs. There's dragons and shit. It's just like getting ideas about what kind of friggin' RPG you want, dude. I get it. People don't want to play the online thing. Like I said, it's my single player shit, and you can set all that stuff up. Like, before you start the game, you can adjust that stuff. So, like, it's hooked up for me. Like, I got it hooked up so it's not super hard, but it's not the default difficulty for Ark, because like, I'd never get anything done. I'd have to be repairing my shit. Like, And like, so see, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking Ultima, because Ultima was like that. You had to go back to your house or it would unspawn. It's the same shit, dude. It's like, it's just, this is like Ultima on level 20. Like, you're not just fixing your house, you gotta fix every single thing, like little friggin' handrails and shit. You gotta fix that shit or it just goes away. So it's like, it's roleplay stuff, dude. It's shit that's got to do with the game that you like to do, that you're not really actually playing the game. That's how I view that stuff. Like, it's kind of chore work, but if you're cool with that, it's good. Like, some people just, it's too much, you know. But if you're cool with that shit, you know, that's roleplay stuff, dude. You're not actually doing stuff, but you're liking it. It's part of the game. It's numbers and shit. So, you know, stuff like that, dude. Just. And the reason this chore stuff is important is because it's not fun. It's not fun at Elder Scrolls games. Like, there was the house and shit. It's not fun, dude. You know, that stuff's fun. This stuff is fun. So, like, I don't know what you guys are doing, but look at this shit, dude. Look at this stuff. It's fun. People like doing this stuff. I'm telling you, I play games, dude. They like it. So, like, stop doing what you're doing, or like, just forget about what Bethesda's doing. Do your own shit and make it fun. That's the whole thing. Like, the chore work, like, it needs to be in friggin' RPGs, but it needs to be fun, is what I'm trying to say. Like, you need to do this shit right, and these dudes did it right. It's just plain and simple. Like, I don't care what anybody says. But gathering shit in Elder Scrolls games is ain't friggin' fun, dude. It's not fun, period. I don't give a shit about it, so, like, just take note. So that's two things. It needs to be a first-person shooter for the ground up. Make the chore work friggin' fun for a change. So check this shit out. I'm gonna show you some stuff because I got a goal for this game. There's bosses in this thing, and you got to do all sorts of shit to beat them. So, and since I'm legit hardcore, or kinda, I'm gonna beat this crap the hard way, single player if I can. I'm gonna go from, I think it's Gamma to Alpha, which I don't know if it's possible, but like, that's what I'm doing here. I'm just breeding stuff, but it's the gameplay I'm talking about here, dude. I got that choice. I don't have to do shit, but I can if I want to. So it's freedom, dude. It's freedom to do what the frick you want. Plus, I'm flying around. I'm not stuck on the ground. It's just like this game. It's these dudes. It's like they did it right. It's just. It's not an RPG, so, like, you know, there's no reason we shouldn't be doing this shit in an RPG, and it is an RPG, right, straight up. Like, if this thing had quests and shit, and there was NPCs in it, do you realize how friggin' insanely cool this game would be? Like, I don't even think anybody would care. It's because it's got the online component, right? But, like I said, this is single player. I've never seen another person in my game. It's just me, so... It's just no NPCs. I gotta make my own shit up in my head. And as you can see, like, all this shit I built from gathering resources, right? And it takes a while because I had to get the right setup. Like, it had to look perfect. And it still probably doesn't look as cool as I could, but it looks good enough. So, like, that's what I'm talking about. There's no reason why we shouldn't have all this shit in RPG. Like, build stuff. It's got the multiplayer thing built into it, so, like, you could just invite your friends to your game and play it, right? Why is this not a thing? Like, I don't understand why this shit ain't a thing, dude. Just, do you realize this shit, what you could be doing with your friends? Like, if it was an RPG with NPCs and there was actually a quest, like, just think about that shit. Like, does anybody, why doesn't somebody just do this shit, dude? It's like, we just need, I mean, look at this stuff, dude. Freaking robot dinosaurs. Robot dinosaurs. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that in an RPG? Is anybody gonna bitch? Like, are you people seriously gonna bitch? So let's get off the dinosaur thing, because it really has nothing to do with dinosaurs, dude. It just has to do with the fun factor in the stuff in games, and, like, you know, I think, like I said, there's a stigma on what us RPGers are willing to go for, but, like, there's no reason why you shouldn't think out of the box and just do like that. Make it quick, Make it like a shooter, but it's an RPG, right? Just do it. Just because nobody's done it, it's because they tried, but the shit sucked, right? Like, it's time to fix it. It's time to fix that shit. Like, it's time to take over the good first-person RPG territory. Like, it's time for somebody to do that shit and take it over, because it's the whole area is ripe, dude. It's ripe, and I'm looking at this thing and I'm thinking, RPGers would love this shit. Like there's a lot of stuff from Ultima Online in this thing. Like, there's a lot of stuff. It's the repairing your stuff that, like, you gotta. It's the taming shit. Except for this one, it's like next level shit. Like, you don't just tame your shit. You gotta knock it out. You gotta feed it antibiotics and stuff. Like, it's got the emotes and shit. Like, what the frick, dude? Like I said, it's just. I mean, I'm glad this game came out, because it's got a. You can tell these dudes played some old games. It's got some old school stuff in it, but it's modern stuff, so it's good. So, like, I see that, and I know exactly what it is, and it's like, I think people dissing on this, it's, I don't know, maybe they're just playing it the way the game wants them to play it, but, like, here's some more shit. This is my main base with my stuff, so. What I'm doing here is I'm going to breed my own dinos, because I'm going to beat the bosses, right? But, like, it doesn't have to be friggin' dinos. Like, it could be dragons. Maybe there's, like, orcs or something. Like, who knows, dude? Every single thing from fantasy RPGs. Why the frick not, you know? So, yeah, it's just tragic that this just has to be Ark, because, like, that's all there is, dude. Like, that's all there is. There's no cool, active friggin' RPGs that are cool. Like, it's, I don't know, it's like big scale fun friggin' RPGs that are done. Like, there's some early access shit, but, like, who knows what's gonna happen. And it seems like with the multiplayer, they don't do that shit right. It's gotta be, you gotta be able to control that shit. Stop giving us fucking servers that we can play on. Let us do our own shit and host our stuff. And if we want to play single player, let us do that. Like, you know, this is on the online age, dude. Everything needs to be online now. Like, all the good RPGs need to have that. They need to have multiplayer. Like, it's time for that shit. It's time for us to have that choice. Stop being fucking lazy and saying, "Oh no, it's just a single player game." Dude, it's bullshit. Give me a fucking break. Just do something. Do some cool shit. Right? Give us something to fucking grab onto, because we don't have shit. We got the fucking, what is it, the Pathfinder game, and the remakes of the Baldur's Gates. That's fucking it. And, like, friggin' Pillars of the Eternity. That was actually pretty cool. But here again, it's the isometric shit. So, like, we want first person shit, dude. That's what we want. Skyrim turns something on. Elder Scrolls turns something on. They just don't finish it. So, like, somebody needs to finish that shit. So, I'm looking at this, and like I said, I'm thinking, why the frick not? So, I'll just, like I said, dude, start first with the first person shooter. Like, that's what you do, because that shit works good. Now, since it's Unreal, you can see how it's a bit stylized. It's not realistic. I'm cool with that. It's just, like, I see that. I was wondering what the frick stuff looks so. It looks a bit over the top, but that's because it's Unreal. Like, you can see it. It's a bit too colorful. The stuff looks good. Like, the shadows and stuff looks good. It is way too colorful. But like, even the lighting looks better than the Elder Scrolls games. So, like, there's no real way you can say, hey, like, dude, you see videos of people going, oh, Fallout 70 looks like, dude, this thing makes Fallout 70 look like Pac-Man, dude. I'm serious, for real. So it's just, you know, I see people going, oh, Fallout's so pretty, dude. Bullshit. It's fucking. It may look pretty. It's not really that fucking pretty. So. Yeah, but, like, and again, I built all this shit. It's fucking, I just plopped it down. You plop this shit down anywhere. Like, there's no reason why this shit has to be so restrictive. We can only build in this one place, unless they're just doing it half-assed. So, like, for reals, from now on, if which is not gonna be, Like, it's not gonna be. They're not gonna fucking. They're not gonna go ape shit and fix this shit. So, like, rest assured. Like, that's just this. Like, checking out my stuff. Like, you know, like you can see this and say, hey, why the frick not? You know, like I said, I think there's this stigma with RPGs, and we think they have to be a certain way, and that's only because that's what we're playing. We never experienced it. Like I said, Skyrim turns shit on, but they don't finish it. So, like, that's what this is about. Like, I want to see this shit get fixed for us. Like, I want us to see that RPG we want, and like you new dudes, you may not even know this shit. It's just like I said, Skyrim. It turns shit on. We get this itch. We're hunting for it. We just don't know what it is. We think it's Elder Scrolls, but it's just because they turned that thing on. They don't fulfill it, right? We're trying to get satisfied from it. It just doesn't do it because they don't go to that next level. Like with this shit, like they went to the next level. It's just first person. It's just a shooter. But like if it was RPG, ooh, dude, like it'd be crazy. If they had quests with NPCs and like you had skills you could level up and say you had perks to fuck with instead of because like in this one you're unlocking blueprints to craft shit. So, but like I don't know, the taming shit ain't even like that big of a deal. It's cool. Like I don't think it necessarily has to be in there. I think it's more important that the thing runs quickly. Like it runs good. And as you can see, this thing is fast as shit. It's fast. There's no reason why RPGs can't run like this. Like really fast. All your stats and shit are still there. Like you got weapon stats in this thing. It's just like there's no skills. Like you got the health thing, but you know it is statty. So you know it's like I can see how it would work. I can see how it would work. Just give us spells like. You know, you could summon shit, whatever spells that you think, you know, like make something like a soul trap thing, just call it something else, you know, same shit. You can enchant shit. You can already build stuff in this thing. So, like, you know, I'm not saying to use this. It's like ideas. I play these games and I'm thinking, like I said, there's no reason. And instead of going through a list that I wrote, I'm just winging this shit. So I like to do that. No script. So yeah, I'm just weird like that. Yeah, so this is good. So I'm just gonna say, like, if you're pretty much resigned to the fact that you really just deep down inside you just love RPGs, but like maybe you're just not convinced. Maybe you're still kind of new to this stuff. I'm just saying it. If you think that's the case, dude, just resign yourself to your fate and save yourself $60. Like, you know, say you're bored or there's some kind of dry spell and there's this really cool game that you think you might like, but it's a shooter or some shit, and you probably ain't gonna really like it, but you're bored and you got $60 and you think you may just save yourself some time and. For us, like you can still get other games and stuff. Like I'm not saying what to spend your money on, but like if you think you're an RPG nut, you just haven't completely convinced yourself. Like just save yourself some frustration and just resign yourself to that fact, and only do the big purchases on like straight up RPGs. Like that's pretty much some good advice, cause like I've been there. You know, I know what it's like to. There's like dry spells, or maybe you just burnt out on this RPG, or like the RPGs you like. So, you know, just take a break. But like if you think you love RPGs, nothing else is gonna fulfill that thing. Like RPGs are just, you know, like if you pretty much already have some kind of idea, but yeah, it's just gonna remain that. Like it's gonna remain the case. Now there's some other shooters that pull out some cool stops, like this one. But like this is an exception. That's why you're looking at this stuff. So, like, let me just say this again. I'm not saying, hey, let's get an Arc RPG. It's just it's a first-person shooter which plays really good, and it's got some RPG stuff. And I can see, you know, how this shit, like, of course it's missing the main quest. It's gonna have to have a cool story, you know, which none of that stuff is in here. So. Like this ain't the same. And, like I'm just here because like like I said, I'm breeding these dinosaurs so I can beat this game. That's the ultimate goal here. So like there is a goal, but it's I'm making this stuff up in my head. It's like there's no story. So like you people who like RPGs, it's like this is probably best played with friends. Like it doesn't have a story, so it's not really the same as what I'm talking about. It's just like it's a pity that I have to look at this and use this as an example because like it does have a lot of cool stuff in it. It's just I think it gets a bad rap because of the PvP part, but I've never experienced that stuff. Like you don't go into online game and not take that into consideration, and that's something these new gamers probably have never experienced. Well, welcome to the new gaming age, guys. That's how gaming is. Somebody's always gonna screw this shit up in a multiplayer game you can't control. That's why like the next good first-person RPGs, you need to be able to control that shit, right? You need to be able to make your own server, play it single player or with friends. You know, we need to have that option. It's time for that to happen. So, and I look at this and I see that. So, like, you know, it's a perfect example. Perfect example what we should be getting in RPG. It's just so what if it's a first-person shooter? If it worked, it would work. It's just somebody has to do that shit. So, yeah, just take that. Take what I've said, think about it. Maybe somebody else will get some ideas, but like that's what I want. That's what we want. And until we get that shit, we're not gonna know it. So I'm calling it right now. Like this is what we want. So all these first-person RPGs, we need to pay attention. Like this is what I'm gonna think about. So just my 2 cents, guys. Hope you liked this video. Peace, fellas.